The third trait of best-in-class implementations is the project management and resource commitment. This is a common challenge for mid-sized companies. Most of our clients being in that mid-market to the kind of the smaller, large organizations. A lot of them don't have a strong bench of people just waiting for that next project to participate in. Most of the companies are pretty lean. They're growing quickly. They're kind of busting at the seams to begin with, which is why many of them are implementing ERP in the first place. So they don't have a lot of resources, let alone really good resources to devote to the project. However, it's very important to have a strong project manager to support the project, whether that's internal, external, or a combination of both. You want to have experienced resources, again, internal and external. You want strong project controls, strong risk management and mitigation, and you also want to make sure you have ongoing phase reviews through the implementation so that you're kind of checking in on the project and looking for those blind spots and identifying those red flags along the way so that they can be addressed. And the only way all this stuff gets done, it's easier said than done. It's easy to say as a consultant, but it can be hard to do as an executive or a manager within an organization is to devote the right resources to it. And you typically want to pull your A players out of production or out of operations to devote to these types of projects because they're so important. And you also want to make sure you find really good resources on the outside that can help you implement faster and cheaper than you would on your own trying to do it yourself. The fourth trait is executive commitment, and this is where you look for support from your CIO or IT director, and you want to make sure that your CEO and entire C-level are on board for the project. And when we talk about executive commitment from the C-level or the C-suite, we're not talking about just the approval for the project and the kind of the going through the motions of giving the speech every now and then talking about how important the ERP project is to the company. That's all important stuff, but the even more important stuff are the little more subtle things that executives do, the things like making decisions around how the business is going to be run. Those are things that you don't want to delegate to a project team. You want the executives to be on board with. Addressing some of the resistance to change head on and helping kind of clear the pathways, the organizational resistance pathways, and that's another challenge is making sure that you have that level of commitment. So there's a lot of things that need to happen when it comes to executive commitments, and we have a whole series of slides that we review with our clients' executive teams to kind of set expectations with them. But those are just a few things that are important. And the reason that executive commitment is so important is because the support from top management is going to minimize conflicts with business needs later. Inevitably, there'll be arguments or just disagreements on how the business should be run and what's best for the overall company versus what's best for my little part of the organization. And a lot of times, executives are the only ones that can make those types of decisions for the company. And one way to help sort through this and to enable this best practice is to establish regular project reviews with the executive team and the steering committee along the way. And that's a good first step. It's a very small step. It's not by any means everything. It's not going to cover everything you need from an executive commitment standpoint, but it will get you started to have those regular project reviews at least once a month.